Hi, my name is Taya and I'm here to teach you a little bit about art history. Today we will be discussing a very underrated artwork by an artist who specialised in portraits and landscapes. The artist painted quickly and was known for a light palette and easy strokes. Mr. and Mr. Andrews was created in 1750 and is now famous throughout history. Mr. and Mr. Andrews is an oil painting on canvas portrait that was painted around 1750 by British painter Thomas Gainsborough that has become a famous artwork. The work remained in the family of the sitters until 1960, so very little is known before an exhibition it appeared in 1927, which spurred praise and exhibition requests for its charm and freshness. It became an iconic work during the post-war years, as it is one of the 4 paintings chosen to represent British art in an exhibition that celebrated the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II in 1953. Soon after, the work began receiving some negative press. Despite this, the work stayed a popular favourite for art historians. The work is a combination of a double portrait and a landscape painting, 2 popular painting styles at the time. The couple were a recently married couple, Robert and Frances Andrew. Although these 2 painting genres are what Gainsborough typically utilised, their combination was striking to viewers as it was not only unique for Gainsborough, it was unique for every other painter. Mr. and Mrs. Andrews is a large landscape painting that depicts 2 figures on the left-hand side. The one farthest to the left is a male leaning against a park bench. The sitter closer to the centre is a woman sitting on said park bench. There is a dog standing at the feet of the male. The park bench sits directly in front of a large tree and faces bundles of hay and an empty field. In the distance is mountain ranges, meadows with animals and trees. Despite the bright light coming from the right-hand side, the sky is largely covered in clouds. The work feels calm and charming. There is no melancholy despite the dark clouds. It simply feels like a couple sitting and enjoying one another's company. The clothing the couple wears is informal, or as informal as you would typically see them. Frances is wearing an informal summer suit, as we now call it, with a skirt and jacket rather than a dress. She pairs it with an informal mules and a straw hat. The most distinct difference between the pair is their poses. While Robert is leaning nonchalantly against the rococo bench, Frances appears to be bolt upright. Despite debates about the expectations on women at the time, it is also just likely that Gainsborough painted Frances from a dressed artist's model. Thomas Gainsborough was an English portrait and landscape painter, draughtsman and printmaker, considered one of the most important British artists of the latter half of the 18th century. The artist painted Mr. and Mr. Andrews in 1750, just as he married the pregnant Margaret Burr and returned to his hometown Sudbury, Suffolk. This return was after an apprenticeship in London with a French artist whom he learned the French Rococo style, and picked up a love of painting landscapes in the Dutch style. The kink in his painting plans was landscapes paid a lot less than portraits, so Gainsborough was forced to, as he said, face paint. Mr. and Mr. Andrews was the widest landscape portrait the artist ever painted, and he did not return to this composition. His works would instead be set against neutral or rococo settings. The male sitter was Robert Andrews, a member of the landed gentry, a fact that is evident in this work. Despite this, it is most likely that Andrews' family money came from being a landlord, helped by the fact his father sent him significant allowances. Robert was born in Essex and attended the University College in Oxford. After his father's death, he inherited 3,000 acres, which included most of the land you see in the painting. The female sitter is Frances Mary Carter, Robert's wife. Frances has been described as not quite the girl next door, but probably the nearest marriageable girl of his own class. The pair married when she was only 14 or 15, and her father also owned businesses and properties around London and Essex. Her family primarily made their money through the drapery business. The couple had 9 children, and after Frances's death in 1780, Robert remarried till his death in 1806. The Andrews house would be in their sight when sitting for the portrait, behind the viewer and to their right. In the middle of the work you see the All Saints Church in Sudbury, where the couple had been married. On the left you can see the Holy Trinity Church in Long Melford. On the right you see the barns of the home farm of Frances's childhood home. This level of depicted location is unusual for Gainsborough's work, and it is suggested to be a specific request from the couple. What makes this work unusual is this setting. Typically one would position them in the gardens of their own home, not against an agricultural background. You may not notice at first glance, but there is actually a missing area of the painting, an area on Mrs. Andrews' lap, which is left untouched by more than a brown brushstroke. Many believe it was to be a pheasant, as this was set right before the legal start of the pheasant season. However, many more believe it was far more likely it would have been a work bag for embroidery, something that was often seen in portraits, or even a book, fan, lapdog, or a child that has yet to be born. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to check out my playlist for the story behind other famous works from history. Like and subscribe if you want more videos just like this.